Do you really think online car buying is the easiest? Vroom says,
well, that was painless.
Then why has the Better Business Bureau issued a scathing alert to consumers to stop buying cars from them? People all across the country have this picture-perfect idea that we need to eliminate dealerships, buy our used cars online, buy our new cars directly from the manufacturer, and this is going to be the easiest way to buy a car. Delete car salesmen everywhere, get rid of dealerships. This is the perfect idea. Well, rest assured, buying a car online is not like you're buying diapers or clothing from Amazon. And by the way, diapers and clothing are the #1 and #2 items sold on Amazon. And as you know, nothing in this world is perfect, and when we're thinking of something theory, we never know the issues until we put that to practice. Vroom is an online retailer, so let's use them as an example. Earlier this year, during the Super Bowl of 2021, Vroom spent millions of dollars to convince consumers all across the country that they were the best and easiest car buying experience ever. During that commercial, they actually bashed the entire automotive industry and talking about how much torture it was to buy a car. In recent light, I've actually found that commercial to be fairly true. When you're buying a car, it may feel like you're being duct taped to a chair and about to be tortured with jumper cables. Then suddenly you wake up and realize it was just a dream. The problem is, it's not a dream, and it is absolutely torture when you're dealing with Vroom. Yes, Vroom tortures you during the car buying process, and I feel they made this commercial to make themselves look good, cover up their own problems, while making the automotive industry look really bad. And just so you are aware, the car buying process starts when you're at home researching your next automobile and ends when you put the title in your drawer and the plate on your car. In this video, I'm going to share with you how online car buying should be and how it actually goes. And it's not that good. I've been selling cars since the year 2000. One thing I've always been taught is to never badmouth your competition. One, you never know what the future is going to hold and how it may bite you in the butt. And two, it really just makes the person talking negative look bad. This video I've wanted to do for years because with all my experience in the car business, I knew and had an idea of what really was going to happen with online car buying. I just didn't have the data in order to prove it and show you. Over the last several years, I have been compiling data from all over the country from real buyers of online car shoppers. Vroom, Carvana, Tesla, and one you've probably never heard of, BBB. Back in 2018, I found a fellow YouTuber's car that he had sold to Vroom burnt up here in Louisville, Kentucky. He's in Texas, Vroom's in Texas, and I was like, how did this car get into Kentucky and why is it burnt up? With research, I found out that a gentleman in Ohio bought this car, and while in transit, this car had absolutely burnt to the ground. Another car appears to have caught on fire during transport, and they lost an entire truckload of cars. So the issue that we have here may not seem that big of a deal, but in order to get a car transported to you, you have to purchase that car up front, pay for it up front, and then you get your merchandise. This gentleman got a loan on the car, and it was an absolute nightmare to cancel that loan and get it off of his credit. And I'm a little bit of a credit expert. I understand how credit works really well. And when you get a car loan on your credit report and pay that off in 30 days, that actually hurts your credit. Another example that happened this year is with the Fastlane YouTube channel. He bought a car for $63,000. They lost the check. And if I remember right, it's a cashier's check that was pretty hard to replace. I mean, imagine what my boss would say if I lost a $63,000 check. Vroom has been accused thousands of times of messing up the entire car buying process, from not getting titles transferred in a timely manner, from holding checks, losing checks as I just mentioned, and hundreds of other things. And that's resulted in their nearly 1-star rating on the Better Business Bureau website. One customer out of Tennessee actually told me he regrets buying from Vroom 1,000% and never will do it again. And after weeks and weeks and weeks of trying to get a hold of somebody, trying to get management, trying to get who to contact, one of the reps said off the record, the biggest issue we're having is we're understaffed with all the car sales, so it's taken an extreme amount of time to get the whole car buying process finalized. These delays could be a multitude of things. Not getting your car shipped from the location the car is stored at in a timely manner, to not getting the title process, to having to drive around on temp tags that are expired, and maybe not even having a tag depending on the state that you live in. Another person I talked to said it took them 6 weeks after he purchased the car and paid for it to get his vehicle delivered to him. That means in 6 weeks, your first payment is due on that new car that you've got. And then this is absolutely flabbergasting. I talked to so many people that they said once the car got there, they did the return policy because the pictures on the website were not the car that they purchased. That is mind-blowing. Those are just a few of the problems that are reality when you're dealing with an online retailer. Others that I've thought about is that you have no idea where this car is located. You don't have any type of local resource to get you additional details on the car that you're about to buy. Some of my customers ask for additional pictures, they ask for videos, they ask if there's smells in the car. I mean, smells could be pet, could be smoke, could be a little bit different smoke smell that, you know, in some states that's legal in. And I'm sure there are more critical details that you could think of that are very important to you when you're spending a lot of your hard-earned money. And now imagine if the manufacturers were involved on every car deal. It would be utter chaos. So how do you actually make online car shopping smooth as a baby's butt? The first step is you've got to do research on the dealership. You've got to read reviews, Google reviews, Yelp reviews, dealer rater reviews, and of course you got to look at Better Business Bureau reviews. What you want to look for is trending issues that dealership or online retailer has. I'm not saying don't do business with them because they have problems. You just want to prepare yourself to know that if there's an issue, that it's much easier to deal with and not have it as a surprise. Most people only look back about 30 to 60 days on reviews. Go back a year or so and check out to see if they've had issues and they've rectified them and all of a sudden had stuff stop. And with Better Business Bureau, you've got to definitely remember that nobody's going on that website to write positive reviews. Most of them are going to be negative, but it's a great resource to see what negatives are actually happening. Dealerships are absolutely focused on Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and dealer rater reviews, and they're going to pump up those 5 stars on the algorithm up front. You want to talk to as little amount of people as possible. The more people you have involved, the more complicated it can get. We all know that. We hear, well, this person said this said this, and then you throw a third person and they say this, and they all say that the other person is wrong, and you think that this person's right, but this person's actually wrong. It's utter chaos.
It's chaos here.
And over the past 10, 11 years, car dealerships aren't even having car salesmen talk to customers anymore. They have specialized people in business development centers that do all the talking to customers, set the appointments, and sometimes those people do work car deals from start to finish. In the industry, we call it cradle to grave. So you need to make sure that you ask the question to someone who picks up the phone is how their process works. And that way you can get right over to a salesman or work with that person on the phone. I just mentioned it. You want to talk to the actual person involved who's going to help you finalize your deal. The reason why, and it's typically the salesperson at the dealership, they know exactly where this car is. The car could be on the front line, lot ready. It could be in detail. It could be in service, all of those things. And you can ask those follow-up questions. Hey, can you test drive it for me? Can you make a video on it for me? Can you get pictures of it for me? Does it have any funny smells? All those important questions you can ask that person and they can answer them for you in a timely manner. I talk about this one all the time. This literally can make or break your car deal. It can make your frustration extremely high or extremely low. You've got to pick your car salesman. You've got to do the research up front. Do not let someone on that phone say, let me get you with a sales rep right now. And certainly don't play the roulette game of, hey, this is Johnny Q Salesman. How can I help you? And they know absolutely nothing about the car you're inquiring about. And another great resource to do research on the salesperson is ask your friends on social media. If you're shipping the car, shipping is extremely difficult and there's a lot of bad drivers out there. So make sure you understand how the car dealership picks the shipper or if your salesperson has a shipper that they use on a regular basis. And most importantly, make sure you understand how the process goes after you say yes and take delivery of that car. There's nothing more frustrating and irritating that you don't have a title, you don't have license plates, you have a temp tag that's expiring. Understand all of that when you take delivery of a car because your salesperson knows how the title process is going. Everywhere across the country, there's issues with DMVs. Indiana, where I live, they're closing DMVs right now, which is just slowing up the process. It's happening all across the country, and most likely you'll be driving on an expired temp tag. That's okay. It's not a big deal, but if you know that stuff up front, it's not going to be an issue. There is no online car retailer with glowing reviews. You've got to remember that Vroom and Tesla are car dealerships just like you have in your hometown. They have the same issues. They work the same process. everything's exactly the same. So you have to be on your A game when you're buying any product. Like, most people don't realize that the owner of Carvana is a convicted felon from defrauding customers when buying cars. So make sure you do your homework, protect yourself, be on your A game, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel and watch that video series right there so you don't get scammed.